Hey, this is going to be a 60 to 75 minute flow, good for beginners or anyone who wants to start their body moving this morning. Have a great practice. Okay, let's start seated with your legs in easy pose, so basically your feet are just like folded. You don't have to like do anything crazy like lift one leg on top of the other, but you want to sit with the crown of your head reaching up, your hands resting on your knees, palms up to receive universal energy, palms down to ground you. One palm up and one palm down to receive and ground. So let's go ahead and just close our eyes gently. Just start to sink into this moment. Maybe noticing the sounds that you hear around you. Sounds of birds, the sounds of the wind, even the sounds of cars in the distance. Just allow all of it to come in and just float away. Not holding on to anything. Just noticing and letting go. This ability to not attach too much to any sensation helps create that equanimity, that sense of peace, that sense of calm that I believe that we're all striving for. So now let's start working on our breathing. We're gonna do Ujjayi breathing, which is breathing in through your nose on 4 counts, holding it, and then we're gonna release using 8 counts. This is gonna really help calm our nervous system. When we breathe in slowly, hold for a minute, and release very slowly, we start to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of our nervous system that helps us rest and digest. So with your hands resting on your knees, let's just start inhaling through your nose. Go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it, and then exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhaling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just continue on your own. In for 4, holding it briefly, and out for 8. And just start to notice your body. Notice what happens. Notice if there's any tension that begins to leave your body as you breathe here. 4 counts in, 8 counts out. Just letting that breath softly, gently enter and leave your body. This kind of breathing is available to you at any time. Anytime you want to ground and center yourself, say things are going a little cray-cray in your life, just go ahead and sit down. It's going to take you 1 or 2 minutes to just calm yourself. We're not in the habit of doing this, especially in our Western society. We're in the habit of go, 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 and we haven't trained ourselves to rest. And training is really what it is. starting to understand the value, actually I would say the essentialism of becoming aware of the breath and how it affects your nervous system, your body, tension in your body. So let's just do one more breath here. In for 4, holding, and out for 4. 2, 3, 4. So continue with that breath, with that soft 4 in and 4 out breath. I'm going to release the 8 at the end and change it to 4. And now we're going to go ahead and just like turn our hands down on our knees, just kind of resting them there, but maybe holding onto your knees a little bit. And then we're going to drop our head to the right, keeping our shoulders even, not jacking up that left shoulder. Just softly bend that head to the right, feeling that stretch up the left side of your neck. And then if you like, you can take that right hand and you can just softly place it on the side of your head. And you just notice how even just the weight of that hand opens up your neck just a little bit more. And then if you'd like to just go one step further, go ahead and take that left hand and walk it out. And you know, you can have your palm flat, you can tent your fingers, whatever you need, and you'll just begin to notice how that feels. Does that feel like a nice stretch? If so, just go ahead and go with that. Let's take some breaths here. In through your nose and out through your nose, keeping your eyes softly closed. And then allow that right arm to just float back down. Drop your chin to your chest. Just breathe here. And then take those 2 hands, raise them up, and just place them on the back of your head. Again, just the weight of your arms or your hands or whatever, resting on the top of your head. Just allowing that neck to open up, keeping those shoulders down. Breathing here. And then floating those hands back to your knees, raising your head up, and then gently moving your head to the left. Breathing here. And then if you'd like, raising that left hand and just resting it on the top of your head. Feel that stretch down the side. Just breathe here. And then if you'd like, you can walk that right hand out. I notice that I can feel that a little bit more deeply. But be careful here not to overstretch. Go ahead and float that left hand down to the mat. Drop your head, and this time we're just going to roll the head around, but try not to go backwards. Try to have your chin down, but when it's up, don't go back. Just keep it neutral. So we're just like rolling our head. Our hands are beside us on the mat. Just feeling that neck. I can feel some popcorn popping when I roll my neck, and then we're going to reverse and go in the opposite direction. Remember your breath. And one more time. And then bring that head back to neutral. Now let's do a little bit of side stretching. So we're going to take that right hand and we're just going to walk it out. And then we're going to take that left hand and raise it up. and then float over, breathing here. So now we've stretched out the neck, now we're stretching out this side body. Keeping those hip bones planted on the ground, not jacking up at all. Few breaths here. And then I like to open my chest up, and I can feel it in a few different places. And then I like to rotate my chest down. Just notice how that feels, and think about the fact that you could do this every morning. You get out of bed, do some breathing, and do some stretching. Okay, we're going to come back up, and we're going to place our hands back on our knees. We're going to take a couple breaths here. And then we're going to block that left hand out. Then we're going to raise that right arm, folding over, breathing here. Maybe try to hear the sound of that breath by restricting your throat a little. It should sound kind of like an ocean. Raising up, hands back to your knees. Let's bring our hands to our shoulders. Just gently tap them there. And then we're just going to start rotating, going to the right and left, right and left, right and left. And then if you like, you can speed that up a little. And then you're going to inhale, exhale, and exhale through your mouth. Slow it back down. How come I can't hear anyone's breath? So this is where we start to become self-conscious instead of just taking care of our bodies. So now we're going to go the opposite way and see if you can make some sounds. Slow it down. Slowing back, coming back. Anyone feel a little dizzy? I do. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to move to our hands and knees. So now we are in a tabletop position. So our hands are directly under our shoulders. Our knees are directly under our hips. And I just noticed that my nail polish is the same color as my mat. How cool is that? So we're just going to take a few breaths here with your back flat. And then we're going to open our knees as wide as the mat and just float back into child's pose. Stretching those arms forward and those hips back. Resting the crown of your head on the mat. Now, this is also child's pose, wherever your body can get to. You do not have to have your hips on your heels. But child's pose is a pose that's always available to you in yoga. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, anytime you feel your breath kind of getting out of rhythm, just go ahead and take child's pose. That's the beauty of yoga, is that we listen to our bodies. We do what works best for us. You can just be on your mat breathing, and you're doing yoga. So let's just take a couple more breaths here in child's pose. then when you're ready, ground that right hand into the mat and just turn your head and raise that left hand up, keeping your hips back. And then slide that left arm under the right. So now you're on your shoulder, your palm is facing up, your right hand is like stretching out forward, you're looking to the right, and you're just breathing here, stretching out that shoulder. On the next breath, we're going to raise that hand back up and then stretch it back out in front of us. Take a few breaths here. Ground that left palm, raise the right arm, slide it under, reach that left hand forward, palm of your right hand up. When you're ready, raise that right hand, or that right hand up, and then stretch it back forward. And take a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to come back to tabletop. So we're back in tabletop with a flat back. Our shoulders are directly over our wrists. Our knees are directly under our hips. And we're going to stretch that right leg back, keep the toes grounded, and then we're just going to rotate on those toes, opening up that ankle. So rotate that around, and then you can go the opposite way, continuing to breathe. And then if you like, you can raise that right foot up. You want your foot to be flat, like as if you were reaching, like you could stand on, if there was a wall behind you, you could stand on it. So your toes are dropping down and your heel is stretching back. Like stretch that heel back, like engage those muscles in your leg, in your quadriceps, and stretch that leg back. And then feel free to stay here. Or if you'd like, you can raise that left hand forward. And now we have a line of energy from our fingertips to our heels. So you're stretching in both directions. Just really stretch. And if you're a little wobbly, that's okay. Some days we're wobbly, some days we're not. That's the nature of life. Okay, coming back. Rotate your hips around a little bit, just rock them back and forth. And then stretch that left leg back. And roll around on those toes. And then raise that foot. Stretch that heel back. Drop those toes. You're pulling out of that hip, like really reaching back. Make that leg feel longer. Stay here. Or if you'd like, raise that right arm and reach that one forward. Long line of energy from your fingertips. So your fingertips are reaching out and your heel is reaching back. Not as wobbly on this side. It's interesting, right? How our bodies are. Let's go ahead and come back to tabletop. And now we're going to walk our hands forward about 1.5 to 2 palm lengths. And then we're going to begin to rotate our hips. So we're going to just push down and then come back, down, go in the other direction. Okay, so leaving those palms where they are, we are going to sink our front of our thighs down and lift our heels. And then this is swan pose. So you're shining your chest forward, you're lifting your heels, you're reaching your neck, your head back. Just opening up your front body. Go ahead and rock back. Come back to child's pose to neutralize that spine. And then we're going to come forward, and this time we're going to put our arms here, and this is Sphinx pose. So my shoulders are directly under my elbows are directly under my shoulders. My hands are going straight out. They're parallel, and my palms are flat, and I'm reaching my chest forward. And so like the only part of my belly that's on the ground is just the very lower part of my abdomen as I'm pushing into my palms, lifting up, keeping those shoulders back and down. And then we're going to walk our hands back. So now we're here, okay? So our elbows are hugging in. You can feel the difference here. It's like really pushing you back a little bit more. This is a variation of upward facing dog. In another variation of upward facing dog, you'd press into your palms, press into your feet, and raise your knees off the ground. But right now we're just getting started slowly. So we're just going to stay like this and breathe. And then we're just going to do a little bit of, little arm thing. So you're going to keep your hands here, and then you're going to slowly lower, elbows hugging in, as slow as you can go, down to the mat, till your chest touches, and then push into those hands and raise up slowly. This is a little bit difficult, isn't it? Keep raising up till you get to this place, trying to keep your elbows slightly bent, and then let's go back down really slow. Push back up, pushing into those palms. Come on, ladies, we could always use and gentlemen, we could always use some work on our arms, right? Make sure you're breathing. Exhaling on the way up and inhaling on the way down. One more. Now we're going to stretch our hands back with our hands flat on the mat, our chin on the mat. And we're just going to raise our feet off the mat. So some of you, it'll just be your feet. Some of you will be able to get it all the way with your knees. Your toes can be pointed here. But you're not really like pointing them hard. They're just kind of like pointy. In other words, we're not flexing our feet here. So you can keep your head and your chest down, or you can raise it up a little. I'm going to take a few breaths here. This is working your back body, building some muscular strength there. If you have back issues, this is a great exercise as long as it's not painful. Okay, go ahead and drop back down. Rest your cheek on the mat, whichever one is best. Take some breaths here. And this time we're going to keep our feet grounded, and we're going to raise our chest with our arms flying back like airplane wings. Reaching back. Floating down. Rest the opposite ear on the mat. Breathing here. Bringing your chest back, or your chin back to the mat. And this time, if you'd like, you can raise your hands, your arms, and your feet at the same time. So reaching up, stretching back. Slowly lowering to the mat, resting that cheek. And this time we're going to bring that right heel in, and we're going to pull it in the direction of our rear end. So we're taking this hand and we're just pulling it in. But, again, like anything with yoga, don't overdo this thing. Just kind of like pull it in to whatever level. So for some people, it'll be here. For some people, they won't even be able to reach their foot. They'll just be like this, and that's fine. So just pulling it in to whatever level you can. Breathing here. You're going to feel this in the front of your quadricep. Feeling your belly pushing into the mat, your lower abdominals when you inhale. And feeling it coming off the mat when you exhale a little. Or maybe flattening at least. Okay, go ahead and slowly let that right foot float back to the mat. And let's do that on the left. So bringing that left foot in, pulling it in, breathing in and out. You can put your ear on the mat. This should feel really good. Go ahead and float that back down, slowly, slowly, slowly. So now we're going to bring those arms back to that Sphinx pose. Take a couple breaths here, and we're going to turn that right or that left hand in. So now it's like parallel, maybe a little arch forward, so it's like this. And then we're just going to reach back, grab that foot, pull it to whatever level you can, trying not to sink into that arm, like really pushing through that arm. So you can tell that this is just a little bit more challenging. Go ahead and float that foot back down. Plant those hands back in Sphinx, and then rotate that right palm. Raise that left foot, grab it, and pull it in, pushing into that arm, not sinking in. Just breathing here. Go ahead and float that foot back down. And now we're going to just allow our chest to lower. switch back up to tabletop. And from tabletop, we are going to walk our hands, a couple handprints forward. We're going to turn our toes so our toes are touching, our heels are back, like this. And then we're going to push into our hands, push into our toes, and raise our hips up, and then push our heels back. But your heels do not need to touch the mat. And I think if you're a beginner, it's really helpful to bend those knees. And when you bend your knees, obviously, your heels are going to come off the mat. And the goal here is to push that tailbone up towards the sky, tucking in that pelvis, pushing the hands, opening up the shoulders, the back body, shining that heart in the direction of your legs, looking back at your toes. Let's slowly drop back to the mat. Take a breath, and let's push back up again. Raising up, stretching back. And this time, let's pedal. Let's pedal our knees back and forth. Opening up. And then sometimes I like to walk my hands just a little bit in before I raise my right leg. Trying to keep your heel grounded, so if you have to walk your foot in. So now I'm reaching that foot up towards the sky with my heel reaching up and my toes pointing down. In other words, your foot is flexed. And then open up that hip by reaching those toes over to the left. Pushing those arms into the mat, trying to keep the shoulders fairly square. Our foot back out, and then slowly lowering it down to the mat. And then we're going to pedal our knees a couple times here. And then we're going to raise that left leg up, reaching it up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Foot is flexed, pushing into those arms. And then if you like, opening up that hip. Trying to keep that back foot flat if you're opening up your hip. Breathing here. Float that foot back down. Back into downward facing dog. And now we're going to drop our knees back to the mat. We're going to take that right hand. We're going to ground it in. It's a little bit forward. Then we're going to take our left foot and we're going to stretch it back. We're going to open this up, and then we're going to reach up. This is gate pose. So my left leg is stretching out. My right knee is on the ground, and my foot is back. So it's making a tripod. Go ahead and keep reaching over towards the opposite wall or the opposite side of the yard. And then if you like, you take that arm and wrap it behind your back. Open up your chest. Looking up towards the sky, I can feel the beautiful sun shining down onto my face. Grateful for the sun, the birds, the plants, everything that surrounds me, and especially this big, beautiful oak tree. Go ahead and raise that hand back up as you look down. And then float that hand back down. Back to your knees squared. And then we're going to shoot that right foot back. Open up that leg and just stretching up, reaching over. If you'd like to reach towards, reach that arm forward, you can, like not forward this way, but forward over your head. Sometimes that feels really good. Rotate back to the mat. Push back up to downward facing dog. Pedal our feet a couple more times. And then slowly walking your feet up towards the front of the mat. I'm going to turn around, but you stay as you are. My feet are about 2 palm widths apart. So if I take my 2 palms and I put them between my feet, that's about hip width distance apart. So now I'm going to take my hands, place them on my hips, bend into my knees, and raise up with a flat back, pulling in those abdominals as you go up. Now we're at Tadasana. So in Tadasana, our feet are directly under our hips, just like we did a minute ago with the hips width distance. Our hands, our arms are just floating down. They're just kind of like hanging there. There's no tension. Shoulders back and down. Crown of the head raising up towards the sky. Softly close your eyes. And just breathe here. And this posture is also a resting posture. If you don't want to go all the way down to child's pose, you can always come to Tadasana. Your feet are grounded into the earth. Your head is reaching up towards the sky. One line of energy coming in through the crown of your head, shooting down through your legs, grounding you into the earth. Notice if your back is straight, if your abdominals are pulled in. Making sure your breathing is in the 4 in and 4 out. And then when you're ready, bending into those knees just a little and raising those hands up, looking up, keeping those shoulders back and down, bringing that hand to heart center. And then we're just going to do a few of those. So inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, floating those arms down. Bring them to your waist. And then, okay, so now our feet are hip width distance apart. So now we're going to take that right leg and we're going to like walk it behind our left leg just a little bit over to the side. So here's my right leg and here's my left leg over here. So then we're going to walk that right hand down and we're going to bend we're bending over to the right, our right hand, our left hand's coming up. Try to keep those shoulders square. Bending in, opening up that left hip. Breathing here. This is nice, isn't it? Nothing too hard. We're just getting our bodies moving, stretching from the whole week. You know, maybe you spent the week sitting in a desk or driving around in your car. This is a really important practice just to open you back up. And now sweeping that left hand up, continuing to ground into those feet, sweep it down, and then sweep that right arm up. Again, my feet are feeling a little wobbly, and so when I feel wobbly, I just bend my knees a little. It helps to stabilize. Pulling those abdominals. Float that hand back down, hands on your waist, sweep that right foot back, back to Tadasana. Let's reset here with a couple breaths. And then let's bring our hands back to our waist. We can take that left leg and we're gonna bring it behind our right leg. Slide. Which way did I go first? Did I go the same way as the leg? It doesn't matter. So now we're gonna slide that right arm down. We're gonna raise that left arm. If I push into that left heel or right heel, I notice a little bit more in my iliotibial band along the side. Sweeping that hand up, sliding it down, and just floating over to the opposite side. This is the side I have a little bit more challenge, like keeping steady. Okay, go ahead and sweep that hand back up. Hands back to the hips. Unwind those legs. So now we're going to move into a few modified sun salutations. So again, you're on the long way of your mat, but I'm stepping back off my mat so you can see me. So in a sun salutation, we're going to bend our knees. We're going to raise our arms. We're going to fold over with a flat back. We're going to ground down into our hands or our legs, wherever you can, bringing our head down towards our knees. And then we're going to lift up halfway with a flat back. We're going to fold back in. We're going to bend our knees, and we're going to raise up. Hands to heart center, hands to your side, bending into your knees, raising up, folding forward with a flat back. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in, bending those knees, rising up on the inhale. Exhaling, hands to heart center, hands to your side. Go ahead and do like 3 more of those on your own. So bending in, raising up, folding over, folding in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding in, bending your knees, rising up. Oh, I almost fell forward. Bringing our hands to heart center, hands to our side, bending, folding over, inhaling, halfway lift, exhale, folding in, bend those knees, raising up, making sure you're using your core to pull you up, and make sure your knees are bent when you come up, bending in, raising up, folding over with a flat back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding in. Rising up. Hands to heart center. Hands to your side. Go ahead and put your hands on your hips here. Let's take a couple breaths. And we're going to do a couple of full sun salutations, which will kind of get our heart going a little bit. It will build some strength. And so just as we did before, we're going to start out by bending our knees, raising our arms, folding over with a flat back, halfway lifting. And this time, we're going to put our hands down and we're going to step our feet back. And so now we're in plank. So we're pushing into our palms and we're keeping our shoulders directly over our wrists. Our head, we're looking forward a little bit, and we're on our tippy toes. And just kind of rock here, back and forth, back and forth. Feel free to drop to your knees at any time. You do not need to stay in that plank. But if you're staying in the plank, go ahead and rock back and forth. And then go ahead and drop down to your knees. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bend those elbows. We're going to push those elbows in towards our body. And and we're gonna slowly lower our chest to the mat. When you get to the mat, you're gonna push into your palms and raise up to cobra. So your elbows are shooting back, your arms are hugging into your chest. So we're gonna come back to tabletop and then press into our feet, back to downward facing dog. Few breaths here. And then we're gonna walk to the front of the mat, keeping our head down, bending into our knees, raising up, hands to heart center, hands to your side. Let's do another one, raising up, folding over with a flat back. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, stepping back to plank. Feel free to drop your knees. Pulling in that core. Now please do drop your knees, flatten your feet, and again, hugging those elbows in, lowering as slow as you can, down to the mat, pushing into the palms and reaching up. I'm in striking cobra now, but you can feel free to stay in cobra, which is right here. This is striking cobra. Notice I still have my elbows pulling into my chest and then my arms are not straight here. Now we're gonna come push up to tabletop, and then we're gonna push back to downward facing dog. And take some breaths here. And then we're gonna walk our feet to the front of the mat. We're gonna lift halfway, folding in, bending our knees, raising up, hands to heart center, hands to the side. One more. Okay, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, stepping back, plank or with your knees on the ground. Let's pedal our knees here if you have your knees up. So we're just gonna drop one knee and then the other knee. Just pedal those back and forth. For me, this takes my mind off the fact that I'm in a plank. And then go ahead and drop those knees down. Again, hugging those arms in, slowly lowering to the mat, pushing up in those hands, raising up. This time you can be in cobra or you can push into the top of your feet and straighten your arms. Now that's upward facing dog. If you're in upward facing dog, you can float straight back into downward facing dog, or you can move to tabletop and then push up to downward facing dog, whatever works best for you. Okay, let's walk our feet back, folding in, lifting halfway, folding in, bending our knees, rising up, hands to heart center, hands to your side. You guys are doing a great job. You're doing a great job, working really hard. So now we're going to bring our toes to touch. We're going to have our heels open, so it's kind of like a piece of pie. I don't think you can see my feet, but it's like a piece of pie. We're going to place our hands on our hips, and we're going to push back, bending our knees, keeping our back flat. Turn around so you can see me. This is chair pose. If you'd like to raise your arms up, you can do that. I like to keep my feet together. Some yogis like to keep their feet apart. Do whatever works best for you. There isn't a right way. There's not a right way to do anything in yoga other than breathe. Okay, continue to breathe here.
is another strength builder. Your crown of your head, everything should be in line back here. Pulling in that core. Go ahead and bring your hands to your chest. Rise up. Hands to your side. Couple breaths, and we're going to do another one of those, okay? So sweeping up, arms up. You can also keep your hands at chest center. You can always also keep your hands at your hips, whatever is best for you. I'm reaching my arms forward. Now I'm going to bring my hands to my chest. So with my hands at my chest, my knees bent, I'm going to rotate with my elbow as far to the left as I can. And then I'm going to be bringing my my thumb towards the center of my chest. So this is a bit of a twist. You can bend more into your knees if you'd like. Some breaths here. So we're going to straighten our knees and just fold in. We're going to lift halfway. We're going to bend our knees. We're going to float back up. You stay where you are. I'm just turning so you can see me. Hands to heart center. Hands to the side. Toes together. Folding up into chair. Bending into those knees. How you doing? Bring your hands to heart center. And this time we're going to sweep over to the right. Again, this is a twist. So pushing those hands together, which opens your chest more to the side. But don't overdo this. Just bending and twisting and breathing. A couple more breaths here. Okay, go ahead and straighten those legs, folding in, lifting halfway, down to the mat, bending the knees, rising up, hands to heart center, hands to your side. Let's go ahead and just like shake our arms and like shake out our hands, maybe move your feet. Maybe like if there was a dance song here, we would be dancing, maybe lifting our legs. Like, just do whatever feels right to you. Have some fun. Have some fun. Here's the thing. The more you worry about what other people think, the more you don't achieve what you can achieve in life. Remember the old yoga? The old, like, aerobics? Where you went back and forth like this? I'm going to do some of that. That feels good. This brings back a lot of memories. Did any of you guys used to wear those leotards with the thing up your butt? Those were so fun. You didn't use one?
Nope. She's too young.
She's too young? Oh, she's too young. I guess you have to be over 50 to be into that. Okay, let's bring our hands back to heart center. Let's take a couple breaths here. Hands to your side. And now we're going to do some strength poses. So we're going to do some warriors. So I'm going to turn back around to the side. And so now I'm going to step my left foot forward and my right foot back, facing out to the side. So my heels should be pretty much aligned and my back foot is turned in this direction. Then I'm going to bend into that front knee, and then I'm going to raise my hands up so my chest is as straight forward as possible. My hips we're trying to move them to straight, but it's kind of like anatomically impossible for them to be totally straight. But raising those hands up, keeping those shoulders back and down. Your hands are just up there. They don't have to be shooting up to the sky. They're just kind of there. Like, can't you see a warrior like this? Just maybe celebrating his victory or her victory. Come on, what am I thinking? Continuing to breathe here. Maybe I should get into comedy too. Anyway, I probably think I'm funnier than anybody else does. Continuing to breathe. Sweep your hand. They're laughing at me because they think I'm ridiculous. Bending into that front knee. And now I'm going to fold over, keeping that knee bent, moving the crown of your head. So I'm going inside my legs. And I'm moving the crown of my head towards the ground. I'm raising my arms over my head. This is one of my favorite poses. It's called Humble Warrior. Again, you can picture the warrior, right? He's lost his battle, and he's humbly bowing to his, I don't want to call it an enemy, to the other party. Breathe here a few more breaths. And then using those arms and your bent knee to pull you back up, pressing into that front foot. And here we are. We're back at Warrior One. Now go ahead and bring your hands to your hips. And now we are going to open our hips more to the side. So sometimes when we're moving into Warrior Two, I have to move my legs a little bit further apart, but everyone's different and my foot is sliding. So I'm gonna bend. Now my hips are rotating to the opposite side, and I'm gonna pull my arms out. So my arms are stretching out, my fingers are stretching to the opposite side, but I'm keeping my shoulders relaxed. So none of this. And I'm looking over my front palm. This is Warrior Two. I'm bending into that front leg. I'm just looking over that front middle finger. I really like this nail polish. After this thing is over, I'll tell you where to get it. I mean the coronavirus thing. Keep bending into that front knee. Flip the palm, sliding back, keeping that front knee bent. Okay, this is the peaceful warrior. This is the warrior that's been like chill. Like we made this battle, we're all good, and now raising our chest up to the sky. Just breathing here. Victory is ours. Continue to bend into that knee. Come back to Warrior Two. Hands to your hips. Straighten that front leg. Okay, so our front leg is straight. And now you might have to move it over a little bit more to the right. With that knee bent, we're gonna keep our hips this way. We're gonna slide our hand down to wherever we can get to. Okay, so this is triangle pose. So we're gonna slide that down. We're gonna raise that arm up. We can look, again, not too much stretching, just keep that top arm like kind of flexible. The goal here is not to get to the ground. The goal is to open up that chest. It's almost like a twist. We're going to sweep that hand down, and then we're going to come down and we're going to frame our foot, and then we're going to turn that back foot facing forward and maybe step it in a little bit. And then we're going to fold over that straight front foot and maybe walk your hands out a bit. Just let that crown of your head drop towards the mat or towards your knee. Your hands are just gently propping you up. Now drop that right knee down to the mat. Bring that foot. So now we're like my heel is over my knee and my knee is over my hip. And then we are going to take our arms, bring them to our chest. We're going to do another twist. So now we're going to twist over that left leg. Pressing those palms together. Breathing here. Twists are so good for us.
let's put those toes in. Let's step up, and then let's bring that foot, both feet forward. We're gonna fold in, lift halfway, fold back down, bend the knees,
rising up, hands to heart center, hands to the side. Okay, so we're just gonna do the opposite side now. So this time we're gonna step our left foot back, and I'm gonna turn the other way. So we're gonna step our left foot back, keeping our right foot forward. We're going to, this back foot is like pivoted in a little bit, and we are going to bend into that front knee again. We're gonna twist our hips, facing the front, and we're gonna raise our hands up, and keep our shoulders back and down. Arms are just kind of like they're kind of chills, and here we are. We are in Warrior One. Picture yourself as a fierce warrior here, because you are a warrior in your own life. In the end, it's just you. But the more people who are loving and supportive that you surround yourself with, the more amazing life can be. Relationships are challenging, but we were meant to be in relation to others. Okay, go ahead and sweep those hands back behind your back, pulling back, and then we're going to fold over into that humble warrior, coming inside that leg, raising the palms up, crown of your head, reaching towards the ground. Breathing here, front leg is bent, back leg is straight. This is another one of my favorite poses. I think I already said that, didn't I? Oh well. It means I like it. Okay, now, using that fist and the bent front knee to lift you up. Hands on your hips. Open up a little bit. Now we're in Warrior Two. Bending into that front knee, looking over your front palm. A lot of people do this in Warrior One or Warrior Two. No, your shoulders should be over your hips. Looking over that front middle finger. Your drishti, or your gaze, is another thing that's used in yoga. So your breath is important, but also your gaze. So we learn that we have the option to look wherever we want, to focus on whatever we want. A couple more breaths here, and then we're going to open that palm, sweeping back, keeping that front knee bent, sweeping back, to, just a second, my foot slipped. Sweeping back to peaceful warrior, bending into that front knee. Coming back into Warrior Two, looking over that front palm, straightening that right leg, but don't lock it out. And then we're going to rotate down. Am I doing this the same as I did last time? I think so. Anyway, raise that arm up. Michelle, you're going too far down. There you go. Looking up at that palm. Now we're going to rotate those hands down. We're going to walk that back foot in, pointing our toes more forward, walking our hands out, and folding over that straight front leg. You can really feel this in your hamstrings, stretching those hamstrings. And we're not really pushing into our hands. They're just there, kind of propping us up a little. Go ahead and drop that back knee.
So now, once again, my knee is over my heel, my hip is under my knee. I'm bringing my hands to heart center, and then I'm gonna rotate in, open up that chest. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Go ahead and come back up. And now let's come to our knees. So our knees are under our hips. Shoulders are back and down. We're going to bring those arms up. Okay, so they're coming straight out of our shoulders. Our shoulders are still back and down. And then we're just going to we're just going to rock back and rock forward. Back and forward, pulling in those abdominals. And you go back and forward. Back and forward. Inhaling back, exhaling out. Inhaling back, exhaling forward. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, let's go ahead and bring our hands to heart center. Put our hands on our hips. Maybe keep your knees exactly where they are, I guess, but bring your toes to touch in the back. Raise your chest up, and we're just going to stretch like as if, if you're a girl, your boobs are going up towards the sky. So pushing into that back, stretching those arms back. Okay, we're opening up that chest, shining that chest up towards the sky. Universal energy flowing in through our heart center. Picture that light of the universal energy, like a bright, white, healing light. Really feel that. Now we're going to slowly lower down to our rear end. I'm going to turn around to face you. But now I'm sitting here, and I'm going to stretch my feet out in front of me. So my legs are stretching out in front of me. And I am taking my arms and I'm placing them beside me, pushing into my palms, raising, like really forcing that back to be flat. So my arms are pretty much straight, not locked out, but like as straight as you can get them. My chest is level, and the crown of my head is reaching towards the sky. This is called staff pose. Okay, so now we are going to walk those hands down our legs to wherever you get to, keeping that back flat. So you can reach out as far as you can, like maybe you'll get to here, or maybe you'll be able to get all the way out, but keeping that back flat. Reaching those arms forward and grabbing onto the grass here, helping me to grip, but I'm not pulling. Folding in, just breathing here. I love a forward fold too. Really feels good on my back. I'll go ahead and walk those hands back in. I'm going to take that right leg, we're going to pull it in, hug it in, almost like you're standing on that right foot. Flexing that front foot so your toes are pointing back towards your head, and then opening that right leg up, pressing your foot into your inner thigh, Keeping that back flat, walking those hands forward again. Your chest should be pointing towards your knee or your front foot. Bending over just to wherever you can get to, but again, keeping that back flat. Walking those hands back in. Hey, Ganesh. Bringing your feet together. So here, you can be in easy pose, or if you like, you can take that left leg and put it on top of your right leg. And if you're really, really like flexible, I'm not this flexible, you can take that right leg and put it on your left leg. I don't know if there's a lot of people my age who can do that. Andrea can do it. Look at her. Oh, so can Jenny. Good for you guys. Oh, now Michelle's gonna try. No, I can't do it. Okay. So actually, they're younger than us, Michelle and
Give him 10 years.
Diane. Yeah, give them 10 years. Okay, now our palms are facing up. Take a couple breaths here, and then I bet you I can guess what's happening next. I'll walk our hands forward, our legs into that forward fold. Walk those hands back in. Stretch that right foot out in front of you. Hug that left leg in, like as if you're standing on that front left foot. And then opening up that hip. Pressing into those sit bones. Walking the hands forward to whatever place you get to with your back flat. Keeping that front foot flexed. Time we're going to take that right foot and bring it in. If you can put it on top, that's great. If you can't, and sometimes people can do both feet up on one side and not the other. Everyone's different. Michelle's still trying. Whoa, she's almost got. Oh, she's got it! Yay! Okay. So now we're gonna. And by the way, she's got her both feet up. She's 61. So, okay, walking our hands forward. Again, reaching out. Keeping that breath calm. Walking those hands back in. Stretching those feet out in front of you. I'm going to switch around. I think I'm going to move this back a little. I think you can see me better if I move it back. Okay, so now, from here, I'm going to hug those knees in, raise those feet off the ground. What's this called again, Michelle? When I lift my feet up? Anyway, I'm going to place my hands behind my thighs. I'm going to keep my knees pressing together. I'm going to raise my feet to whatever level. So for some it'll be here, for others it'll be here, but I'm still pulling those knees in towards my chest, pulling your abdominals in, keeping your back flat,
And then if you like, you can stretch those heels forward, open up your arms, but don't sink into your back. Keep pressing that crown of your head towards the sky. Boat. It's called boat pose. Okay, go ahead and hug those knees in. Don't drop your feet. Hug the knees in. Couple breaths here. Put your hands back behind your thighs. Raise those feet up. Pulling that chest in. Stay here or raise your arms and raise your heels. I can't raise my heels. Some days I can, some days I can't. Hug those legs in. And now if you can, grab your toes and then just stretch up. Again, trying to keep that back flat. And then hug those knees back in. Again, we have not touched. And now we're going to do some rocking and rolling. Ready? So we're going to come back. Keeping our hands on our knees, just rolling on that spine. Oh, it should feel really good. One more time. Until you end up with your knees up, slowly lowering down to the mat. Your chest, your shoulders, everything's flat on the mat. Your palms are rising up. I'm gonna do a couple bridge poses. So we're gonna press into our feet, our flat feet. We're gonna maybe put your palms flat, keeping those hands, those arms grounded, raising those hips, pushing those hip bones up towards the sky. Slowly lowering down, just about to the mat, and then popping back up. Slowly lowering down, popping back up one more time. Woo! Lowering down, hugging those knees in, rocking side to side. Let's do a little happy baby here. So we're going to bend our knees, grab our feet either inside or outside, and we're pulling our knees down towards the earth, feet flexed. Try to keep your tailbone on the ground as much as you can. So we're not like this. Breathing here. Hugging those knees in. Opening your arms to the side. And so now we're gonna do this. Just watch me once. So we're gonna keep our knees together and we're gonna move right and left. This is a little twist. Keeping those abdominals engaged. We're not touching our knees down. We're just moving over to the right, to the left. So you can feel this in your, what are those things on the side called? On the side of your abdominals? Obliques. You feel these in your obliques. Back and forth. Back and forth. Back and forth. Couple more of those. Coming back to center. Hugging those knees in. Shoulders back and down. How long have we been going here? I think we've been going quite a long time. I think it's time to close this thing out. Okay, hold it, hugging your knees in,
We're going to raise those heels up towards the sky, shoulders back and down, arms reaching out. So your shoulders are on the ground, but your arms are reaching up. Feet are flexed, but really gently. Hands flopping over forward. You know, let's roll our wrists here. Rotate your wrists. Go a little bit each way. Continuing to breathe. Flopping those hands back over. Shoulders are back and down. I think we covered just about everything here, ladies and gentlemen. Breathing in. Hug those knees back in. And it's time for Shavasana. At the end of the yoga practice, our opportunity to allow our practice to settle in, stretching those feet out to the sides of the mat, feet flopping open, hands opening up. I really like having an eye pillow when I do Shavasana, just kind of softly closing my eyes, creating more darkness, letting go of the measured breath, just breathing naturally here. Our bodies need rest. And sometimes they need much less rest during the middle of the day than you think. Sometimes just laying down, opening up like this, breathing gently and naturally, feeling your whole back body as if it's pressing into the earth, almost like you're sinking into the earth, as if your body is making an imprint. You can really feel that if you allow your mind to just relax and let go. Listen to my words, and your body will respond. Whole body just sinking in, grounding noticing what you hear, but not attaching to what you hear. Just allowing those sounds to float in, float out. No need to name them, just notice them. And when you let go like that, your senses open up. They allow you to notice so much more. And as you lay here, bring to mind something in your life right now that you can feel a deep sense of gratitude towards. Maybe it's just the fact that you woke up today. Maybe it's the fact that you have family who love you. Maybe it's something as simple as the fact that there's food on your table. Or the smile of a stranger. Whatever it is that you're bringing to mind, try to really feel that. It's not just a thought. Gratitude is a feeling. I can feel it in my chest, sort of a warm feeling. And when we try to really feel our lives without without being reactive to what we feel. Our senses can come alive, and life just feels that much more magnificent. Just a few more breaths in it. Feel so relaxed, so calm, so peaceful. I always am a little disappointed when Shavasana is over. And many teachers tell their students, go ahead and stay here as long as you like. So, go ahead and stay here as long as you like. If this is benefiting you, if this feels luxurious, this is the one time in your day today that you're going to be able to rest and breathe. Take advantage of that. But if you're ready to come out, go ahead and hug those knees in, and then bend those knees over to the right or to the left. Hands resting on your head, or your head resting on your hands, just like a sleeping baby, fetal pose. You really are a baby, just a grown-up one. Watch a toddler and their absolute mesmerization with the world around them. Everything lights up their senses. Everything strikes them with curiosity. As we become adults, the voices and the judgments of others and of ourselves start to sneak in to our mind. And we begin to slowly lose touch with all the beauty that's always around us. Being in the here and now, being in the present moment, allows us to be more open to all the good, the not so good, the free-flowing, the challenging. That's how life is. Always full of highs and full of lows. And without the lows, the highs would just feel like what's normal. Life ebbs and flows. Couple more breaths here. And then pushing into that top hand, lifting up, coming back to easy pose, just how we started. Breathing in here, crown of your head raising up, palms up, down, or one up and one down. Taking a couple more breaths here, really feeling gratitude for yourself, for the time you took to come to your mat today, to practice, to get grounded. Hands to heart center. Raise those hands up, open up, shine that chest up towards the sky. Breathe in a little bit here. Just really feel that. Breathe in, exhale. arms up, look up, pull your hands slowly to heart center, those thumbs pressing in to your chest, into your heart. Taking a couple more breaths here, bowing your head to your hands, couple breaths here, and rising up and looking at your companions and saying, Namaste.
Namaste.
May the light in you reach out and touch the light in all you meet. Thank you for joining me. It's soothing? Okay, that was awesome. Check out my YouTube channel, Cindy Price Fabico. All my yoga is posted there.